My brothers and sisters, may the Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Mary Magdalene stayed outside the tomb weeping, and as she wept, she bent over into the tomb and saw two angels in white sitting there, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had been. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They've taken my Lord, and I don't know where they laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus there, but did not know it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" She thought it was the gardener and said to him, "Sir, if you carried him away, tell me where you laid him, and I will take him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Stop holding on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and tell them, I am going to my Father and to your Father, to my God and your God." Mary went and announced to the disciples, "I've seen the Lord," and then reported what he had told her. The Gospel of the Lord. This entire octave is one long celebration of Easter. For 8 days, it is essentially Easter over and over again. And in the course of these days, we hear, especially from the Gospel accounts, all of those events surrounding those first days following the event of the resurrection. And today we see how there's a great transition that's happening as a result of this experience, that the resurrection makes everything different. And it takes time for that to be kind of really taken to heart and understand what that means. And so specifically for Mary Magdalene, she goes through a kind of progression of understanding. She sees initially that the Lord is not there, and all she can think of is that they did something with him, and where is he? And when she encounters initially Jesus, who she thinks is just a gardener, she kind of introduces herself to him and says, "Sir, where did you put him? Let me go and take him." And when Jesus speaks her name, once he says the name, she understands who it is. And she realizes that it's not the gardener, but it is the Lord. And so there's a progression that happens as to understanding who he is. And then it's taken a step further as she in turn is told to tell the disciples to go to meet him. And when she goes to them, she says that I've seen the Lord. So she went from a sir to an idea of Rabboni to now the Lord. And it's that same kind of progression of faith that over and over again happens as a result of the conversion experience for people. These days, undoubtedly, for those disciples were very exciting times as they tried to put together all of the facts and finally all of a sudden began to understand all the things Jesus had suggested to them during the course of the journey. And we'll find as the week continues that progresses as well. Tomorrow is the classic story of the disciples meeting Jesus on the road to Emmaus and how they, at that point, end up seeing him yet a different way. To the breaking of the bread, they become to understand who he is. For ourselves, too, in our own particular personal conversions, there's hopefully a deepening of faith and an understanding of who this Jesus is in our life and the world around us. And just as Mary was to announce that to the disciples, it is our role and challenge in this day and age to announce it to those around us, that we have seen the Lord and that he is alive and well, and he calls all of us to that same new life.